What's going on, everybody? Brad here, and I got another Fortnite discussion video with you guys, and it's something that's been on my mind since Chapter 4 ended, and actually, it's this new chapter has gotten me interested in the story, and I want to explain why, but I also created this to do something else. I want to see if I can't try to figure out a way to fix Fortnite's lore problem. There's been so many storylines that this game has had where they've just dropped them completely, and it's aggravating as somebody who actually kind of likes the story and has grown to enjoy some of these characters over the years. So what I want to talk today about is, with Chapter 5 now sort of being a fresh start, because the current storyline has nothing to do with anything in Fortnite's history with the exception of Jonesy and Peely. The story starts with Peely being kidnapped by the Society. And I think everybody in the current battle pass, with the exception of the characters Hope and Jonesy, I think the other characters are all part of the Society. The Tiger guy, Hope's sister, whose name I can't remember, the guy who's made of diamonds or controls the power of diamonds. There was another skin, and I cannot remember it to save my life. I know Peter Griffin was there. Oh, the fencer. The one with the sword. I believe all of them, except Jonesy and Hope, are actually part of the Society. Now, the going theory, the popular theory, is that Midas is actually going to be revealed to be the head of the Society. And there's been teases and suggestions as to why this is. It's stuff hinting it. There's a whole little island on the game that's got there's a whole little island in the game right now that's got a bunch of Chapter 2 Season 2 stuff. Even Midas's even the doorway to the building where all those characters were at, the in the hub, and Midas's chair from the trailer are in the game. And there's a gold theme around their symbol and everything, where it looks like maybe it's Midas's eye. I don't know. We've been trolled before with teases of Midas coming back, and even though Donald Mustard said he's still canonically alive, after this Big Bang, who knows what's even still in play anymore. The island's been destroyed several times, and all the factions seem to have remained. The Seven. The IO was kind of dismantled, but Geno is still out there, supposedly. Dr. Slone survived the Chapter 3 war. Jones is still around again. His mission this time is to get Peely back from the Society. And so I want to build from there. So let's say the big revelation at the end of this season. Jones, because here's my point on view on this. They kidnapped Peely, and I think the trailer, if I remember right, basically told him, hey, we got your buddy. And they basically just told him, yeah, we're holding your buddy for ransom. I don't know if there was actually a demand for what they want in exchange for releasing Peely, but it seems like maybe this is just bait to get Jones to come to them. So, why? What would be the purpose of having Jones? Why kidnap Peely, and what is their desire for Jones? And so, if Midas is revealed to be the leader, you could say that there has been some hostility between him and Dr. Slone, because we haven't seen what happened to Slone. We know that she said that she figures reality is not done with the two of us, talking about her and Jones. And as we've seen, Jones has already been thrust into a new story. But let's say that Midas is back. Maybe Midas is aware of a greater threat, or we could keep it simple. Midas collects treasure, or he collects things, turns them to gold, and then that becomes part of his collection. He's a master thief. I think even his character bio says that he was the head of a criminal syndicate. So, I thought it might end up be the Peace Syndicate, but, anyway. So, maybe Midas caught wind of the time machine that Slone had. Maybe Slone still has the time machine, and she's planning to use it again for something else. Now we never found out exactly what the threat was that Slone said, and I'm just now looking at this render of Slone I put in this picture, and it looks like uh, it chopped off a part of her hair. And now I hate this, but I don't feel like going back and recording it again. But uh, anyway, back to the story. Um, Maybe Slone is planning to rebuild the Imagined Order. I would like for the Imagined Order to come back because I like this idea of all these different groups fighting over the 0 point. So we could say Midas wants the 0 point so that he could go to different realities and collect all of their treasures. So he wants it to steal stuff. Slone doesn't want that. She's not after treasure. Maybe she's bought into Geno's whole thing about looking for perfection, or she just likes the experiments. She likes to see these various warriors from different timelines and realities fight each other. It's amusing to her. She wants to see who maybe she wants to see who the best warrior is, so that she can build a better army. But ultimately, her goal is to also protect the 0 point from outside interference, which would be Midas, or the last reality, or the Seven seeking to keep it free and have no one fool with it. I think you could have an interesting idea here to have Jones be of the mindset that no one should be tampering with the 0 point, but somebody should exist to guard it and keep other people from messing with it. It shouldn't be completely free, because that seems to lead to trouble. And going back, talking about we did not know the threat of what we saved from the island from Chapter 4, or it looked like maybe, thinking back, what Optimus Prime had said about the 0 point. The 0 point had gone dormant. I'm assuming that means it was dead, which we never saw it during the entirety of Chapter 4. It was sealed underground, and it looked like it was encased in just metal. And so I'm guessing that was the idea. The 0 point is now just gone. So we need to go back in time and figure out a way to maybe start things over so that the 0 point can exist again. Which makes me question, what exactly is the 0 point then? If it's not like the beginning of the universe like it's supposed to be, if it was to go silent, then wouldn't that mean the universe would be destroyed? I mean, that would be my thought. But it seems to be able to destroy and then pull itself back together, like just an endless cycle of creation and destruction. But anyway, let's say Slone is building this army. She wants to control the 0 point. She doesn't want anyone else to have it for any other reason. She wants to play scientist, and she wants to keep conducting these little experiments that she was doing before. Maybe this time without Geno. So now we've set up a war where Season 2 can be Midas versus Slone for control of the 0 point. And with the idea that maybe as things start to fall apart, maybe Midas will actually start to win over her. But she has an ace up her sleeve. She's figured out how to bring Geno to the island for Season 3. And now Geno has forced back Midas and his society, and Agent Jones, who has aligned with Midas at least to say, like, we don't need to go. We've seen maybe Jones retains all of his memories from the previous chapters, and he knows that if Slone and the IO get their way, then they're just gonna mess with people continuously, and it's just not gonna stop. They're just going to keep building this army and keep a hold on the 0 point, which he doesn't believe anybody should be messing with realities. That's what they're doing. But stealing treasure is a little bit less offensive in the grand scheme of things than kidnapping people and forcing them to fight each other for the sake of trying to figure out, or trying to create the ultimate warrior, the ultimate fighter. And just to recruit to her army so she can just keep doing it over and over again. So, for temporarily, Jones sides with Midas in the war. Slone then, feeling no other choice, summons Geno, who is unhappy that she has basically declared herself the new leader of the IO, and because he seems to be like this idea of the perfect being, he shows up, takes over, Maybe he kicks her out. She's now without a team. Uh, Midas's society gets pushed back. More operatives and like battle pass skins show up. Maybe Sloane's a battle pass skin there, where she now will take what she learned from Geno, or from the time she had spent rebuilding the IO throughout chapter 3 now, the plan is to call back the Seven. Like, hey, the Seven defeated the IO in the past. I'm going to align myself this time on the side of the Seven. Only some of the Seven have not survived. We know that, like, I think both of the sisters have died. I can't remember which one actually died in the Fortnite comic, along with supposedly Geno at the time. Who knows? Maybe they survived. But you could have Geno want revenge on Jones and the Seven because his daughter died, even though, or something. I think maybe that the daughters were already against him, so I don't know. That may not work. But let's just bring him back anyway. The remaining members of the Seven have been brought back, but they are corrupted or something. Like, I know that was the big story. They're not the same as they used to be, at least of the remaining members. So with them being corrupted, maybe this accidentally brings in the Origin, or as he was known before we met him, the Cube King. And this will bring us back to, this will be like, okay, the Origin has reverted back to taking over the cubes. Maybe with the Big Bang and this big reset that happened for the island, or after being absorbed by Chrome, he was re-corrupted and resumed because the Cube Queen is gone. Assuming the Cube Queen has been completely destroyed, the Cube King has now taken over again. He's back on his throne. He's back evil. And now we have to stop this former ally of us. And so what I would kind of like to see basically summed up, and I'm sorry if I thought I had a more clear view here, but of what I specifically wanted. But I think having an entire chapter where Jones is jumping back and forth between teams, or just some of the characters are, where you find uneasy alliances from past, like Midas and Slone maybe being at odds with each other because of what Midas did during the device event, which caused them to have to flood the island to keep people from getting out. So Midas is not in good graces with that, with the IO. It looks like maybe he betrayed them for his own selfish means to destroy the loop. Although I'm guessing Midas's reason for destroying the loop was not noble, and that he was actually just trying to get out so that he could, pursue a life of crime. He's after the world, like the multiverse's greatest treasures that he can then turn gold, and that will mean this is mine now. It doesn't matter who it belonged to before; it's mine. And so I kind of like that. Like this, it's his way of letting everybody know I stopped this being. This is mine. Like just any random important artifact from over the years that you could see. Maybe like you'll find the Foundation. Let's say that the Foundation was destroyed. He was the strongest member of the Seven, and that's why they looked to him. Let's say that Midas now has the Foundation's helmet as a trophy. Like I took out the Foundation, to let us know that he is indeed a threat. And that way you set up the Return of the Last Reality as well, and then it becomes a major conflict. Slone and the Cube King obviously don't have any love lost between each other. Who knows how Midas would play into that. But then at the end of the season, you would basically end up with this group of people who don't trust each other. Slone, Midas, Jones, Geno. You could maybe, who knows, what happened to the paradigm? Where's Singularity? At one point that we all, it was being teased that Singularity and the paradigm were the same character. And then I think once they got Brie Larson in, they decided to retcon that and make it to where, no, Paradigm was never always Singularity, and they're, in fact, two separate characters. Something else, as we talked about Midas being confirmed to be alive, Donald Mustard has said, I know he's not there anymore, but whatever, that Singularity is a very important character to the Fortnite lore, and that she is known by different names. So, could we see her return? I think that if the game actually did give people a reason to care about some of these characters, then people would want to keep playing for Battle Royale. Like, they need to stop with these off again, on again storylines. I get like building a proper thing, like, and then coming back to it later is, that's one thing. But like, I feel like the whole build up for like I'm still so frustrated with it. The whole build up for Chapter 4, Season 4, the Fortnite mares with Kato Thorn, the vampire. He just was there to be a vampire at Halloween time, and they gave him the time machine so that Slone and Jonesy could cause this Big Bang event. That's it. There was no further. It seemed like there was no further reason for him to be there, even though it looked like the big eclipse that they were teasing with the red moon. It was just him coming back to the island via time machine. So I don't know how they could foresee him traveling in a time machine back to this era, or from the either from the past or from the future to the current era. That seems kind of strange. There were a lot of questions that went unanswered in Chapter 4, and I hope they'll avoid it with Chapter 5. And this simple story of, hey, my friend Peely got kidnapped, I'm going to go save him, is a good place to start and build off of this, where you see that this simple story is just the beginning of a much larger story. And I don't know. I would like to see some of these characters that we've been told are super important to actually live up to that expectation. I want to see Singularity come back and be important. I want to see Midas come back and be, a threat again. And I want him to be a bigger part of the story than just like he's the guy who turned stuff gold, So hopefully that theory that Midas, at the very least, I hope the theory that Midas is the head of the society will turn out to be true. And that we'll get a focus on him in the next season. Maybe for Chapter 5, Season 2, all these years later, this new version of Midas will come out. And we'll see what he's been up to. Maybe it's high society Midas or something. You could call him like that, where he looks even more fancy and stuff. And, I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know. Who's a character in this game you guys want to see come back? Maybe we'll see the Peace Syndicate come back. We never did get all three of the Triarchs from Chapter 4. We got introduced to two of them. And they were sort of part of the story, but not really. So I don't know. We didn't really get that whole storyline with the Peace Syndicate where somebody had deleted the files on the last reality, and then the last reality never showed up. Kato Thorn was not part of the last reality. He was just a lone, not really lone because he had henchmen, but his whole thing was just he was stealing stuff across time. And a lot of that stuff he had was stuff related to Midas. So I don't know. Maybe you could use that as part of the storyline. Build from that. Then Midas recalls a vampire previously having encountered the vampire, and now that Midas is back, all this other stuff. I don't know. It's a multiverse where different timelines and different realities all coexist, and everything is canon. So they could throw something together. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Tell me who you want to see come back. Tell me what direction you want the story to go in. Do you think they should just completely abandon all those old stories and just use this story with the kidnapped Peely as a fresh start? Should we just completely disregard everything else, and then let this new story play out as we've never seen this before? Let me know what you guys think. Appreciate you for watching. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you later.